Hey everybody, Jim here with another video for you. This is kind of my special holiday video for everyone. But before I begin, please, at the end of this video, if you like what you see, please consider giving me a thumbs up, a possible subscribe. Most importantly, leave comments below. Let me know what some of your favorite Christmas movies are or some of your favorite Christmas movie memories are. Now, like I said, this one's kind of a special video. Last week, I did a live stream with my partners in crime, Kenny and Sean, on the Talking Movies with Sean, Kenny, and Jim livecast. We did our holiday spectacular, and we covered, it was kind of all over the place, but we covered basically holiday movies, but also our favorite memories of the holidays, growing up and such. And we were kind of discussing, what we watched on TV when we were kids and this and that and the other. And, when we were kids, there were, when I say we, I'm talking about old people like me. Before cable TV and everything, there was 3 networks and then the local standard channels that you would get. But anyways, back then, as far as holiday movies went, you could always count on It's a Wonderful Life for sure, every year. And Sound of Music. But mainly we were inundated with religious movies like Ben-Hur and The Robe and The Greatest Story Ever Told and Jesus of Nazareth and a million others. At Easter time, you could always count on seeing the 10 Commandments. And they still do that every year. But the other thing is that there was Christmas specials nonstop. If there was a Christmas song or a Christmas character, they made an animated special about it. So many. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, Frosty the Snowman. I mean, so many. But we're going to highlight a couple of those types of things. And first and foremost, we have to talk about A Charlie Brown Christmas. Here in the States, if you're a certain age group, this is a beloved tradition that you still watch every year. And it's awesome, based on the Charles M. Schulz Peanuts characters, of course. And again, they still play this every year. And not to offend everyone, I love just about every moment of this until Linus grabs the microphone and starts reciting scripture for the last 2 minutes of the episode. Now, again, I don't mean that in an offensive way in any way, shape, or form. When I used to watch this as a kid every year, my first complaint was, why am I listening to Linus tell me what the minister is going to tell me at church tomorrow? So I'm not knocking the religious aspect of it whatsoever. But even as a kid, it kind of annoyed me. And quite frankly, now that I watch this on DVD, when I get to that point, hey, it's over. But A Charlie Brown Christmas, again, it's just one of those absolutely wonderful Christmas specials from my childhood that I'll adore until the day I die. But my favorite one of all time, and it's not even close, is The Year Without a Santa Claus. With Heat Miser and Freeze Miser. And this particular edition also has Nestor the Long-Eared Donkey and Rudolph's Shiny New Year, which Rudolph's Shiny New Year is another one of those all-time classics. But The Year Without a Santa Claus, I mean, the Heat Miser, Freeze Miser characters, it's just, me and my late brother Greg, we every year, up until last year actually, whenever it would come time for Christmas, he would always send me like a little email or something with a clip from this, because we used to sing this damn song constantly. I love it. As the years went on, of course, with cable especially, they started running A Christmas Story, and this year it's Elf for 24 hours straight. But another one that has quickly become a classic from around that time is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, of course, starring Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo, among others. Same parents, new kids. And out of the vacation movies, this one's my second favorite, because the original Vacation is still my absolute favorite. But they're the only two out of the whole franchise that I actually own. I don't really care for European or Vegas Vacation. And to be honest, I've never seen the reboot, so I couldn't tell you about that one. But Christmas Vacation it is. It's a really great movie. Now, on this video, in addition to highlighting some movies, I'm going to tell you some movie theater stories. Two, in fact. Here comes the first one. In 2000, what was it, 2002, 2003, something like that. Sorry, I'm losing my brains here. Regardless, I was working at that other movie theater when Bad Santa was released. Starring Billy Bob Thornton, Lauren Graham, John Ritter, Bernie Mac, and Tony Cox. Directed by Terry Zwigoff, I believe is how you pronounce his name. But this movie's hilarious. I love it. This is one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time. But like I said, I was working at a theater when this movie was released. And we posted signs everywhere, throughout the outside and the inside of the box office, stating in big block letters that Bad Santa was not a children's movie. It was not a family movie. It was a hard R-rated comedy that included lots of foul language, lots of sexual situations, lots of drugs and alcohol. I mean, the whole 9 yards. It couldn't have been any clearer. We even posted a couple of signs in Spanish. And every night for the month that we had this movie, at least one idiot couple would bring their kids and within 10 minutes come walking out saying that they wanted a refund because this movie was so offensive. And I would just point at the signs and say, too bad. As it is, Bad Santa, hilarious movie. Not for everyone, very offensive, but my God, I love this movie so much. And in a similar vein, I wasn't working at a theater for this one, but as far as like raunchy Christmas comedies go, this is one of the newer ones. The Night Before, with Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Seth Rogen, and Anthony Mackie, among others. This isn't a great movie by any stretch, but it is a very entertaining one. And the three leads, they've been friends since they were kids. And every year on Christmas Eve, they get together. And it's just crazy. Seth Rogen is Jewish. And there's one scene in particular where his Catholic wife makes him make time during their crazy night of debauchery to stop for Catholic Mass. And he is drunk, and he's wearing a huge Star of David Christmas sweater. And I'm not going to give it away, but that scene is absolutely hysterically funny. The main character in this movie is Joseph Gordon-Levitt. But again, the three of them, they play off each other wonderfully. Not a great movie, but a very entertaining one. Now, for years, I was confused why people considered Die Hard a Christmas movie. I have come around, and I do agree that this movie is definitely a Christmas movie. And that was mainly in my earlier years, just being, a snob and saying, no, it's an action movie. It's not a Christmas movie. No, bullshit. Die Hard is a Christmas movie, and it's a great one. And it's one of the best action movies of all time. So I'm not going to argue about Die Hard being a Christmas movie. But if you're going to say Die Hard is a Christmas movie, you also have to say that Lethal Weapon is a Christmas movie, the original. Because again, same criteria. They both take place at Christmas time. In this case, it's a Christmas party. In this case, it's, right around the holidays, and it actually ends on Christmas Day, okay? But both of these are Christmas movies. But the reason why I brought out Lethal Weapon was because if you're going to talk Lethal Weapon, you have to talk about Shane Black. He wrote the screenplay for this movie. And if you're talking about Shane Black, yeah, he has a tendency for something about Christmas movies. Because in addition to Lethal Weapon, you've got The Last Boy Scout, The Long Kiss Goodnight. He wrote all three of these movies. And he also wrote and directed Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. And every one of these movies are action movies. In this case, an action comedy. More of a comedy mystery, actually. It's not so much of an action movie. But regardless, all four of these movies, screenplays were written by Shane Black. All four of them have to do with Christmas time. I made a comment in our live chat the other day. Outside of Santa Claus, I don't think anybody has done more for Christmas in the last 30 years than Shane Black. So people talk about it watching Die Hard at Christmas time. Hey, How about having a Shane Black marathon, Lethal Weapon, Last Boy Scout, Long Kiss Goodnight, and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang? Since we're so outside of the box on what we would call traditional Christmas movies, got to throw in Bob Clark's classic Black Christmas from 1974. I mean, come on. It's one of the first slasher movies. And it's definitely a Christmas movie. I mean, Christmas is in the damn title, for God's sake. Most people talk about Silent Night, Deadly Night. I don't like that movie. I've never liked that movie, okay? But I love this one. I don't like the remakes, but I really do enjoy this movie. So if you're going to watch a Christmas horror movie, to me, Black Christmas is definitely the best way to go. Staying in that outside the box area, how about The Silent Partner? Starring Elliot Gould, Christopher Plummer, Susanna York, and a very small appearance from John Candy. And again, the Christmas connection in this movie is Christopher Plummer plays a bank robber, and he's dressed up as Santa Claus. It's right there. And like Lethal Weapon, Die Hard, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, it's not necessarily a traditional Christmas movie, but Christmas is involved with the plot. And anytime I get a chance to plug this movie, I take it. So by all means, this is a Kino Lorber title, and it's fantastic. Please check out The Silent Partner if you've never seen it. Another underrated outside the box Christmas type movie is A Midnight Clear from 1992, written and directed by Keith Gordon, who is best known as an actor. He played Ernie in Christine, and he was in Dressed to Kill and Back to School, among other movies. He has since become a director. And this movie's got a great cast of young actors at the time. Peter Berg, Kevin Dillon, Ethan Hawke, Ari Gross, Frank Whaley, and there he is, Gary Sinise. Look how young Gary Sinise is there. This is before Forrest Gump. This is based on a true story. In World War II in 1944, on Christmas Eve, some American soldiers, these 6 guys, and they come across on patrol some German soldiers. And instead of engaging each other, they decide to have a moment of peace and friendship. And unfortunately, because of the communication gap between the two groups, something goes wrong. And what starts off as a hopeful, wondrous moment becomes tragic. If you've never seen A Midnight Clear, by all means, please check out this underrated movie. This is available on Shout Select. That's where I got it from Shout Factory. But I'm sure it's streaming somewhere. So by all means, check this very small, independent movie out. It's very good. Okay, my absolute favorite Christmas movie of all time is another one that a lot of people have never heard of or ever seen. And it's The Ref, starring Dennis Leary, Judy Davis, Kevin Spacey, and in his film debut, J.K. Simmons. This movie is absolutely hysterically funny. And unfortunately, because it's a touchstone film, it's not available on Blu-ray. But my God, this movie's hilarious. If you've never seen The Ref, by all means, hunt this movie down, check it out. Even if you've got a problem with Kevin Spacey or you don't like Dennis Leary or whatever, I'm telling you, this movie is hysterically funny, just like what the blurb says. For once, a blurb is telling the truth, because this movie is. But again, it's one of those movies that unfortunately a lot of people have never heard of. But we're going to end this Christmas special video on a Christmas story with a movie that's got nothing, absolutely nothing to do with Christmas. And the movie is 2010, The Year We Make Contact. Directed by Peter Hyams and starring Roy Scheider, John Lithgow, Cara DeLay, and Helen Mirren, among others. Fantastic movie. I love this movie. This is the sequel to 2001: A Space Odyssey, of course. Now, you're all wondering, what the hell does 2010 have to do with Christmas? Well, this is what. This movie was released in 1984 at Christmastime. Not on Christmas, but probably, if memory strikes me correctly, it was right around the first week of December, okay? And this movie wasn't a big hit. It wasn't a flop, but it wasn't a hit, okay? And we happened to get it at my theater the week of Christmas that year. And anybody in the States, I don't know if it's like this in the UK or elsewhere, but in the States, movie theaters are one of the few things that are open on Christmas. And I worked every Christmas. And that year was no exception. I was 17 years old. And this movie happened to be playing. And about halfway through the movie on Christmas Eve, we started hearing screaming and a whole bunch of commotion. And a kid came flying out of the theater into the lobby, screaming his head off, saying, "Please call 911, 911, we need 911. And we didn't know what the hell was going on. But my manager immediately turned on the house lights. I ran up to the projection booth and shut the movie down. It came running back down, top speed. We go into the theater, and there was a woman who was pregnant whose water broke during the film. And the screaming that we heard was from the kid in front of her, because when the water broke, not to be graphic, but the water broke and it started running all over the kid's shoes in front of him because it was a sloped floor, of course. And I could kind of sympathize, because I didn't like it when somebody spilled a Coke behind me in a movie theater. I can only imagine. Yeah, that's as far as we'll go with that. But anyways, I digress. We called 911. They came. They got her out. Thank God she didn't give birth into the lobby. And they got her out, and we started a movie up again. No harm, no foul, okay? We found out a couple of days later, because the hospital, luckily, was situated directly behind the theater, luckily enough, that she did give birth that night. All was well and everything else. So that's all good. It was a Christmas miracle, so to speak. We also found out that the baby was named Hal, which I always thought was kind of funny. Anybody who's seen 2001 or 2010 will understand the connection to the name Hal. I hope everybody enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, a possible subscribe. Most importantly, leave those comments below. I want to take this opportunity to wish everyone a safe and happy holiday season, regardless if you celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Festivus like the rest of us, or any other religious holiday or non-secular holiday for that matter. Just everyone, enjoy the holiday season. Spend time with your friends and family, and we'll catch you on the next one.